Let's see if it's working. Hey, what's going on, guys? How's it going? Wait, is it working? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Wait, is it working now? What the fuck? Okay, what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? Wait, it's the other way around. There we go. Now it's good. All right. How's it going, guys? What are you guys up to? Website background is transparent. Oh, I see. That's annoying. Well, today what I wanted to talk about is um, rising prices all around, like inflation. And actually, the topic of discussion is why I'm a free market advocate and I don't believe in centralization. Okay. I'm going to answer a lot of the questions that a lot of people have usually. Okay. And hopefully point out some inconsistencies that go on in the minds of people who do prefer centralization. In the meantime, you guys can ask me questions if you'd like, as well as if you'd like to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh or anything like that. That's also cool. Um, but I do want to test run it on here and see how it goes. Just talking about the world around us and if we are heading towards a good direction or a bad direction, if that makes sense. So, without further ado, if you guys don't know me, I am I'm an advocate for free market. I am an advocate for as little government as possible and as little government intervention as possible, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that is, I actually don't believe in minimum wage. I don't believe in any type of government control on businesses. And in my opinion, I have pretty valid we I have pretty valid reason as to why I think those are bad ideas, and uh, how they negatively impact the economy. Okay, I don't say this out of any type of how do I say it? I don't say any of this without thought. Okay, like nobody told me this. This is something that I dug into myself, and this is stuff that I researched myself and saw how things were before, and things how what happened to them after government started intervening. Okay, so the minimum wage thing. Okay, this is the problem that I have with minimum wage. Okay, well, number one, a lot of people believe that if you remove minimum wage, all of a sudden employers are going to start asking, like a dollar, $2 an hour. Okay, people really think that that's what's going to happen. All right. Number one, I don't think that's possible. Okay, the reason is because of this. See, business owners, okay, they need their business to run in order for them to have any type of profit. All right, without any type of employees, they're not going to be able to run. All right, so what they actually have to do is offer up a type of incentive for people to come work with them. All right, so if all of these businesses are all of a sudden running, okay, and it, okay, wait, somebody said it would be interesting to know your background a bit to know how you came to the conclusion. Okay, so actually, I just came to that conclusion by reading. To be honest, I don't really have a background. I'm not like one of those skater guys that they're not allowed to skate anywhere, so they end up hating the government. I don't have any type of bad experience with government. I just think it's an immoral practice that human beings practice, and um I came to that conclusion by basically uh going through a sort of scientific method to figure out what is right and what is wrong. Okay, but without getting into that, let me just focus on the minimum wage thing, because this is something that drives a lot of people nuts, and people have a hard time accepting that this is actually like the myth that employers are going to screw their employees over if they don't have any type of minimum wage set by the government. I don't think that's the truth. Okay, so uh, these employers, they need the business to run. All right, so if they're offering incentive that is not worth it, all right, that is not worth it for the employee to come, they're not going to work for them. We see that today, for example, where you see people switching jobs and positions all the time because another employer is offering better incentive for them to come work for them, right? We see that all the time. I mean, I did it, my pops did it, all my friends, they do it. Like, they're changing companies all the time because these companies are constantly competing for your labor, all right? And uh like assuming that these companies will basically just say, um all right, Ness, I will address your point right after. Okay, so assuming that, for example, this business wants to run. Actually, let's look at who has more to lose. All right, so if the employee has, decent job for a little bit, okay, and they had a little bit of savings, and they're able to kind of get by until they find their next job. All right, who has more to lose, the employer or the employee? If for example, the employer decided to obnoxiously drop the price to do $2, and basically all of his employees left. Well, the employee can go work somewhere else, and if they're offering a better rate, if they're not offering a better rate, let's just say that they're all of them are ploying against the employee, and all of them are targeting the employee, and they, for some reason, they don't want anybody to work, and all of them are on this big uh, attack against all of these employees. Well, number one, the employee will have to just wait a little bit until they change their mind, or until he runs out of savings. Okay, the business owner, his business is going to go down, so everything that he built up is going to go completely extinct. And obviously he might have savings himself to be able to live, and he probably will, because as the business owner he will have more money than the employee, obviously. However, he will lose everything he worked for. So in my opinion, I think that is more to lose than like, for example, if I lost my business, it would probably be a lot worse than if my video editor lost his job, because his job will, he can go get work for somebody else, edit another person's video. I have to start something that I was doing for 5 years, and restart that completely. You understand? So, in my opinion, at least, okay, this again, this is just my conclusions on why I arrived to these things. So, to me, I just find it very hard to believe that employers are just going to, if the market is, if the market for somebody's time, an hour of somebody's time is $20, the employers are going to just charge $2, and all of a sudden people are going to accept that. I don't think that that would happen realistically, because a lot of these businesses will go under. And let's just say, for example, that let's just say, I'm going to give a real life example to show you guys that I don't think it's feasible. All right, let's just say I make these phones right here. Okay, let's just make, because it's a Yu-Gi-Oh chat, let's just bring up Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Let's just say I manufacture these cards. Okay, if I manufacture this card for $20, and I would like to have $5 profit, it costs me $1 for the materials, and basically everything else I have to, I need $5 to live. Okay, and my employee, he needs around $10 to live. Okay, so we have $10 for the employee, $1 for the material, and $5 for me to live. Okay, and the rest is and the rest is basically up for debate. Okay, I can either pocket it, I could either give it to my employee, I can put it into more resources in order to improve the quality of the card, whatever it is that I can do. Like, I have this option for the remaining $4. All right, if I decide to cut that price down and just put it at $1, all right, and that employee gets screwed. Okay, number one, I obviously would not be able to get any employees at that price, because competitors are offering better prices over there. All right, this is why most real jobs that are not basically like waitress, or like anything with where you're basically expected to go long term with the company, they don't offer minimum wage, they offer more than that, right? So why is that? Because the competition there is very high, and the labor market, there's a lot of competition for the high level employees. That's why, for example, engineers get paid so much, or doctors get paid so much, because there's a lot less of those available, right? So you have to charge more. Okay, so if we just assume that let's just say there is not that we have $4 remaining. Okay, and somebody else is producing this exact same card. All right, if that person is able to offer, you know, $1 more than me, I'm gonna basically lose my business. You understand? Because I'm not gonna have any employees. They're all gonna go to him. He's gonna be able to manufacture more cards, and so on and so on. So realistically, like in a real sense, I just don't see how it's possible for people to charge low price. Like, I don't understand how an employer can just cut the price of an employee where somebody else is offering more, and he'll just leave me and go to him. And I found this like with my own experience just on the free market with video editors. So if you don't know, like, there's these video editing outsourcing sites where you can hire people across the sea, and to edit your videos. All right. I mean, there's great video editors, there's average video editors, and then there's below average video editors. And the great ones, I mean, you offer, they're selling their hours by, $200 an hour or whatever. If I go to offer them $50, okay, I mean, they're not going to accept me because there's somebody else that's willing to pay $200. So if there's nobody willing to pay $200, then, to be honest with you, your services are not worth $200. Like, if we're being very frank with ourselves. By the way, this chat, a lot of feelings might get hurt because, I mean, I'm gonna talk honestly here, and I'm hoping that everybody here is an adult. So, well, hopefully no feelings get hurt because I am gonna be talking to adults as an adult. So, if you, it's like, for example, in a place right now, okay, in the world that we live in today, if you're a carpenter and you're charging $15,000 for a cardboard, for a, what's it called, if you're paying, if you're charging $15,000 for your fucking, what is it called, like a bookshelf, okay? And when somebody else is offering it for $20 or $40, like, I'm sorry, your worth, your services are not necessary, and I can get that cheaper. You understand? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you believe yours is. It's about what the other person believes. And also, no, this is not 40K. This is PSA 9. It's not PSA 10. PSA 10s are all like off-site. Like, I'm not saying that even carpenters are charging more than what they should. I'm just saying that your services are not in demand by the market. The market doesn't want your services. Okay, so this goes for everything, right? So if you're a video editor and you feel like your time is worth $200, well, to be honest with you, it's not about you. It's about what the person is willing to pay. You understand? So it goes for the same with cards, and it goes the same for employment. You understand? So you could feel like your job at a factory is worth, $50, but at the end of the day, if you're in an assembly line and I could replace you a lot easier by finding somebody else who can do the same job as you for $40, then I'm sorry, you're not worth $50. You can feel that way, that you're worth $50, but you're not. Okay, because nobody's willing to pay that. All right. So this type of, you have to understand that this is the thing, that this is how the free market works. Okay, it is very punishing for people who don't stay at the top of their game all the time, improving themselves, improving their skills, etc., etc. All right. So, and this is why I like it, to be honest. This is why I like the free market, and I don't like government intervention, because government intervention, you could be a lackey and still get a great price for your labor when you don't really deserve that. All right. It's also the other way around, where in the free market, if you don't charge well enough for somebody's great services, somebody else will pay a lot more, because just like how government sets floors for prices like minimum wage, they also set ceilings. Don't get it twisted. Okay, they also set ceilings. And to me, in my opinion, as somebody who has studied the free market, who has experienced it in real life, I think, in my opinion, that the free market is a lot more punishing to bad employers than any government will be, to be honest with you. So that's number one. Now, the bad aspect of the minimum wage. So one thing I noticed is back in the day, okay, back in the day, uh, employment was almost like not even in existence. Like even if you were, for example, if you suffered from Down syndrome, or you were in a wheelchair, or you had some type of disability, you still got a job. Okay. Now, when you have a minimum wage, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a real life example, not a real life example. Like I'm gonna give you guys a real allegory. I have a factory. Okay, I can get this job done, making this through somebody. I don't need somebody who is able to like uh, uh what's it called? I don't need. I'm gonna answer you, Ness. Just give me 1 second. Once I finish this, I'll answer all the questions. This is the bad part about the minimum wage. If I run a factory and I don't need like that bright of a person, okay, that talented of a person. I just need somebody to just like basically stamp something, okay? What's gonna happen is I let's just say that the market price for somebody who is, a level talent is $20, okay? And that's what the government set as the minimum wage, or $15. Let's just say $15, okay? I run a factory and I could only afford $15 in labor. Okay, that's my margin. All right, and I promise you, in the real world, when you go to any small business, most of those people, they're working on like bare minimum margin. Nobody's really like taking money and profiting like crazy. I promise you that. Like maybe the big corporations, but those people are in bed with the government. I'm talking about literally small businesses and any regular employer. Most of them are trying to work margin. Okay, when I go and set a price for a card, I always try to go as cheap as possible, because I'm trying to make the sale. I'm trying to grab the sale from the buyers, because it's the power. The power is in the buyer's hand, not in the seller's hand. Believe it or not. Okay. So what's it called? If I'm a factory worker, if I'm a factory employer, and there's a job, I only have $15 for labor. Okay, and the job is very simple. All right. What happens is when the government sets a minimum wage and they say $15, I can only hire one person to stamp this thing. Okay, whether they are talented, whether they are disabled, or whatever, I can only hire one. This is where the problem comes in, because if you're an employer and I can pump out two of these, okay, because I can hire two disabled people for $7.50, for example, each, okay, because the job is less demanding, okay. What happens now is, why would I hire two disabled people when I can just get one like brighter person, or more capable person, to what's it called, to do the same job? You understand? What you're doing here is, honestly, it's a type of culling of the lower, not lower, but you get what I'm saying, like the lower demographic, the people who are not as capable as the others. It becomes very hard for those people to find jobs, and because those people actually used to work in the factories doing the simple jobs and make, obviously they didn't get rich, but at the end of the day, you have to understand that these people were dealt a bad hand. You understand? These people were dealt a bad hand, and like frankly, they do not have the ability to produce and affect the world around them as much as somebody who was not dealt a bad hand. So those people, they will have to lower their expectations. The problem is, those people don't get hired when you have minimum wage. You understand? Because those people, they cannot find jobs for, if the talent level is at $15, the average talent level, those people are below average. Those people get called, basically. That's why you see there's a lot of problems with, when you have a disabled family, they end up having to take care of them all the time. If you'd like, I can, after this, you can message me. If you don't believe me, I can send you many sources where um, people were talking, where like you could see how a lot, like back then, for example, they would have literally factories dedicated to serve to employing, the lower capability people, the disabled people. And in my opinion, I mean, I think that's a great solution for, being able to, number one, on the business side, you get cheap labor, but on the uh, before the Federal Reserve, so around uh, I would say like in the 1930s, 1940s, okay, before like big government started rising after 1944. Um, Somebody asked back when, that's why. So that would literally happen. You understand? So uh, I don't know. To me, I just think that if you let the market play out, um, you'll be able to solve a lot of the problems that government causes. Like right now, for example, government caused the problem with the no disability people. But what they do, they go try to fix it by putting in more regulation, right? So they regulated the wages, they caused this problem. Now they go in and they say shit like, uh, now you have to hire a disabled person, for example. You understand? You have to meet the quota or whatever. You understand? So this is the type of stuff where I think the free market could have solved it a lot better, a lot smoother, and a lot more moral. Okay, so let me just get into some questions, okay? Because a lot of people left the chat because a lot of people were very angry about what I said, I guess. So Ness said there are a lot of places where there isn't a lot of competition between businesses. So removing minimum wage would absolutely screw people over in remote places. That would be yes if we ignore the fact that government empowers something called intellectual property. Okay, so this is another government induced problem. The fact that they do something called intellectual property, which means you get to own ideas. Okay, and I don't agree with that sentiment whatsoever, because I don't believe people have the right to own ideas. Okay, if that was the case, then we would have frozen a long time ago, because the first person who invented fire would never, nobody else is allowed to own fire. You understand? So to me, I don't adhere to that idea, but uh, this is the problem with government intervention. Like if you start to own ideas, okay, then I just make something and nobody else is allowed to make it. Why this is an issue towards the minimum wage thing is because if I'm working for somebody and he decides to just randomly cut my pay, what I'm gonna go do is literally go and start my own. You understand? But that's the key thing though. You have to understand that what I'm advocating for is for people to have confidence in themselves. For me, I have confidence in people's abilities. I truly believe in humankind themselves. I believe that humans, when they focus themselves, they put themselves like they dedicate themselves to something, they are able to accomplish amazing things. Okay, but nowadays it's very hard to accomplish any of these things because most people, they don't care about anything, to be honest with you. They really don't care about anything. So uh, if we were to get rid of that intellectual property problem, which is basically whoever pays the highest, whoever bids the highest on a certain idea, they get to own it for 60 years. Uh, that number one gets rid of the problem where if I fire my employee, he's just gonna go copy the same shit I'm making for probably a cheaper price because he's gonna do it himself instead of having to rely on the employee. You understand? So that's one way to do it. So you have to have confidence in yourself that, hey, if this employer fires me, I'm gonna go and compete with him. Okay, a lot of people don't have that confidence in themselves, and I think it's a shame, to be honest, because most people are incredibly bright, to be honest with you. Like there are a bunch of like idiots in the world, but it's a very small minority. There's a lot of people who dumb themselves down. So let's go to the next question. What's your favorite aspect of working for yourself? My favorite aspect that I get for working for myself is the ability to have the time to investigate these exact scenarios. You understand? Because if you don't investigate these things, you will never be able to see through the deception that goes on in the world. See, the government needs you to believe in them. You understand? They need you to believe that they are important. You understand? they have to make you believe that. So they have to sell it as much as possible, right? Imagine if you're if you get paid by nowadays, imagine if you get paid, imagine you go to a car salesman, okay? Do you think that car salesman is going to act like you don't need the car? He's going to be like, oh yeah, yeah, you could do without the car, you can walk, you can take a bike. He's not going to do that. He's going to tell you how great he is, what he's doing for you. They're a business as well. Like, believe it or not, the government is a business. They get paid, those people have jobs, they have something to, they have an incentive to make you believe that they are of value to you. To me, I don't really see the value because I had the time to investigate these things. I really had the time. Like, I didn't just come to my conclusion for no reason. Like, it's not like I have a bone to pick with government. I just understand and I can see through their facade. You understand? It's like literally being able to see through the facade of a salesman trying to sell you a lemon. Like, I could see that it's a bunch of bullshit, to be honest. So that's my most favorite thing about being able to work for myself, because most people who have that time, the extra time, they end up most people who own their own businesses and they're able to free up that time, they end up arriving to the same conclusions. You don't really see a lot of businessmen that are on the side of government. Most of them are against it. Maybe they didn't go as far as I did, being against the government or being against the banks and all of that, but a lot of them, they understand what's really going on. So that's something that I I really enjoy about myself, being able to work. So feelings might hurt if one is sensitive. Horses were unemployed when cars became widely available to the masses. Progression causes some jobs to be worth more and some to be worth less. Exactly. So the free market itself, as it advances, okay, what happens is some people become obsolete. I'll give you a perfect example. If you look at Motorola, okay, if you go back and read some of the ads that Motorola, that people were saying about Motorola, like in the old tech magazines, they were saying that they were a tech giant. There was nothing that could take down Motorola. Nothing. Like they were saying that it is like the next IBM, because if you don't know, IBM was a huge monster. They were saying that it's the next IBM. No, nobody can take it down. Look at Motorola right now. Okay, those people, they decided not to advance themselves, not to continue working on their tech, not to continue advancing their techniques and rewarding their labor, and now they're in the dust. Okay, they're completely dusted. Somebody bought them out. They're not worth anything. So trust me, like the bigger the giant, the harder they fall. Like they say that for a reason. Okay, the bigger they get, the bigger impact they make on the ground when they fall. So keep that in mind. um Milano, I'm really liking these lives. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Ness said, but shouldn't everyone, even low-skilled laborers, deserve to make enough money to have a roof over their head? So no, I don't think anybody deserves anything, to be honest. I don't think anybody deserves anything. I think you deserve what you are able to acquire. Okay? Um, if you want to test what I'm saying out, always look at put yourself on an island with somebody else. Okay? This is very important. This is how you actually test out the validity of these ideas that I'm talking about. When I say I scientifically tested these things, I mean, like, I literally put them in a scenario and does this seem plausible? Does this seem like it's fair? So for example, if I'm on an island with somebody and I build a fire, could I randomly just tell the other person, hey, you're not allowed to make a fire? I have idea over this fire. Like, he watched me make it, and then all of a sudden I can say, no, you're not allowed to make a fire. That's how you know it's foolishness. You understand? So that's how you debunk, like, if you want to take it to the real world and truly test out your ideas. So no, I don't think people just deserve things because they existed. For example, if I'm on an island with somebody else, okay, and I'm able to create, I'm strong enough to make a very strong house that survives the wind, okay. um that person, if he's not able to make the same house that I am, he does not he does not deserve to live with me. You understand? He does not deserve this. He does not. Now, it's in my good interest to be able to bring him in and teach him how to make the same house I did, because if I'm able to do that, we can use his other talents for other things, right? Like if he's not good at baking a house, but he's able to make good fires or whatever, what would happen is he has to find out what he is good at so he can trade it with me so I can build his house for him. Okay? But he does not inherently deserve anything. What he does deserve is to be able to find what he's good at and monetize it and trade it with me, because I'm good at building this house on this island. You understand? If we approach things by what they deserve, okay, what people deserve, I mean, I could say I deserve whatever. I deserve education. I deserve whatever it is. You understand? I don't deserve that. I don't deserve that. I only deserve what I can make, what I can acquire, what I can trade for. That's what I deserve. So, uh, and if you want to like literally just apply it to any type of logic you want, because if we just have this like, why is it that housing, a roof over your head, is minimum? Why is that the minimum? Why isn't education the minimum? Why isn't car a minimum? Why isn't healthcare a minimum? Why is that not a minimum? Why is it that only a roof over your head? See, for me, I am consistent. I when you want to figure out if your philosophy and your understanding of the world is aligned with the truth or not, it has to always be consistent. Like if you have X and Y and Z, right? If you plug in X and Y, they always have to pop out Z. If it's not that, then it does not make sense. Okay? So if, for example, Ness here, this gentleman claims that roof over your head is a must or you deserve it, Omar, as the gentleman, I could claim that I deserve an iPhone. But do I really deserve that? Who am I to declare, and who are you to declare what people deserve? If we claim that people deserve what they can make, then that applies to everybody, or not make like physically, but like either labor or trade for whatever it is. You get what I'm saying? Like whatever they can work for, then that is what's it called? That is basically it's consistent. Like I deserve what I can work for. You deserve what you can work for. You deserve what you can work for, and that's it. So now it's on us to be able to figure out what we can work for, so we can figure out what we deserve. So in my opinion, I just think that's consistent, and it's not relative. Like it's not anybody making things up, like what people deserve, like naturally. Like I don't get to decide, you don't get to decide, nobody gets to decide. Nowadays, people get discouraged and depressed easily. They just want a job to pay bills, no interest in better education and confidence. Exactly. Well, this is the problem with the way that we are brought up today, and the whole reason I'm even doing this is to hopefully enlighten some of you brothers out there, like who are still coming up, to believe in yourself that you can do it, right? That you can compete, because if you believe that, then you can do it. You understand? You might. I'm not saying you might not fall, because trust me, I felt quite a bit. Like I felt quite a bit. But if you believe that you can still do it over and over and over and over again, you don't need to rely on somebody else. You understand? You deserve what you can get, and you have to believe that you can get whatever it is that you put your mind to. So that's the whole idea of me doing these chats. I'm not sure about your ethnicity, but you do sound a lot like a lot of Turkish and Iranian homies I grew up with. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. When you combine terrible neighborhood and low expectation family parents, the kid has no chance to succeed and begins to resent others. Exactly. So the thing is that you have to expect good things from yourself. This is not to say that parenting doesn't have anything to do. Of course, parenting is the thing that ignites the fire under the child. You understand? It's very, very important that the parents instill that type of confidence in their child, and they don't just like tell them, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, I was reading this book, you can read it yourself, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Uh, that's the book. Check it out, guys. It's very enlightening. What he was saying is, by the time that child is 6, he would have heard around 100,000 no's. Imagine that. Imagine somebody, a child, consistently hearing no, 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 you can't, no, 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 no. Okay. In my opinion, I think that's a problem, and that's what makes a lot of the children that grow up to, actually most children today, they become they don't have the confidence in themselves because they just get told no all the time. You'll even see it with your parents. I'm not sure if you see it with yours, but I saw it with mine. With mine, they would say no as kind of how do you say, they say no like automatically, and then they change to yes if they end up changing their mind. Like the automatic answer is no until they change their mind. And I just don't think that's the right way to grow up or raise children, to be honest with you. So and this is why I am trying or to inspire people to not do that, because I hope that I do that with my own children. Next, so then, if government should be small, should taxes not exist? If they should exist, what should they fund? No, I don't believe taxation is moral at all. I think taxation is theft. Um, I don't agree with it whatsoever. So no, taxes should not exist. Uh, government should. The only thing government should exist for is the rights that you have individually. So what do I mean by this? This is very important. How do you find out what your rights are? Like, what is your right personally? Is it my right to get up off of this desk? Is it my right to close this laptop? Is it my right to close the camera? Is it my right to turn on the light, turn off the light? There's thousands, millions, like 100 millions of things that I can do. Okay? And because of this, you can't focus on what you can do. You have to focus on what you are not allowed to do. Okay? What do I mean by that? Because of the long list of your rights, you understand? Because of the long list of your rights, of what you can do, it's very hard to even like kind of write it down, right? What you can't do is a lot easier to summarize, and if you start with that, then you'll be able to know inherently what your rights are, because it's anything that is not what you cannot do. And through a lot of investigating, your your sorry, I read some comments. I'm gonna go back to my point. So the idea here is, if you understand what you can't do, okay, and I figured, in my opinion, I figured out what you can't do through trial and error, okay, and they summarize to 7 things, okay, 7 different things that you cannot do, that you are not in your power or your right to do it. It doesn't mean that you can't do them physically. Obviously, I'm stronger than somebody else. If I take their stuff, obviously I can do it. I'm saying, do you inherently have the right to do it? So the first thing is killing. You're not allowed to kill somebody. You're not allowed to assault somebody, as in like harm them physically. You are not allowed to rape somebody. You are not allowed to steal from somebody. You are not allowed to trespass on somebody's property. You are not allowed to deliberately lie, like contractually, for example. You can't hide things on a contract, okay? Or like if you agree on something, you do not lie about that. And then the last one is, you cannot coerce somebody into doing something they don't want to do, okay? These 7 things, in my opinion, are the only things that you are not allowed to do, okay? Why? Because these 7 things could be summarized as causing harm to somebody else, okay? So in my opinion, at least, this is my understanding, this is the conclusions that I came to. So these 7 things are your off limits, okay? So we have to identify what is stealing or theft, okay? Theft, if we go to a dictionary, it is the action of taking something from somebody else without their consent, without them saying yes. Okay? So, just by definition, if somebody does not want to get taxed, okay, and they are threatened to be either put in a cage or shot or whatever, they are being stolen from, just by definition. Okay? So, having understood this, we can understand that taxation is theft. Okay? Well, at least taxation to people who don't want it. Okay? If the people who do want to get taxed, go ahead, that's your right. But if you don't want to, and I don't want to, I'm going to be stolen from. All right? And just so you guys know, okay, I know you guys think that I have this massive collection and I'm super rich. I'm not very rich myself. I'm card rich per se, but not really very rich, money-wise, paper-wise. But I had these views even before I acquired any of my large collection. It's not like I acquired these understandings after, okay, when I got these things. I just don't know. I had these even from the very beginning, and I actually believe that I was karmically rewarded for my beliefs, if that makes sense. I was karmically rewarded for my beliefs with these things. So by definition, taxation is theft, okay, to the people who don't want it. All right. So yes, I do not think that you can steal from people. No, I do not. I don't think so. And I don't think that. So see, I don't have the right to steal from somebody, right? Like if I knock on somebody's door and I tell them, "Give me your money," okay, or I'm going to put you in a cage, or I'm going to shoot you. People are going to be like, they're going to be very angry. They're going to be like, this guy's stealing from people. However, when the government does that, that's okay. And I'm not okay with that. See, I am not okay making the government an exception. You understand? See, I hold government to the same standards I hold myself. Okay? Why? Because I don't want to look at my child, tell him don't steal when I am permitting somebody else to steal. Okay? I don't want to look at my child and tell him don't counterfeit money when I know that I'm an advocate, like AKA I'm an advocate of government. They are counterfeiting money. I don't want to look at my child and tell them don't lie, and then I know that the government is lying. You understand? So to me, I hold myself to the same standard as I hold everybody else. And because of this, I have to be able to decipher what rights does the government actually have. Okay? So the government has the same rights that I have. And what are these rights? Everything other than these 7 things. So because I am consistent, I arrive to the conclusion that the only thing government can do, like that people actually require government to do, is protect us. Protect us in self-defense factor. You understand? Why? Because I have the right to defend myself. Like I inherently have the right to defend myself from somebody who is doing harm to me. So if I was to delegate this right to somebody else, I'm only allowed to delegate the things that I can do myself, right? I can't steal, Ness can't steal, Cedric can't steal, all these people can't steal. We can't come together and then somehow just say that we can now steal because we are now government or we have elected government. We cannot do that, in my opinion at least, okay? And I stand strong by that, and in my opinion, I think is the most consistent and intellectually honest thinking that you possibly can have. So that's why I don't think the government has the right to do these things, and it's because I hold myself to the same standard and I hold everybody else to the same standard. If somebody's stealing from me, okay, I do not like it, and I don't like if the government is stealing from me as well. Okay, I'm all for providing services, like just like how I pay for my service, like on my phone bill, I pay for this every single month. I'm totally okay paying for the roads if they're tolled. I'm totally okay paying for insurance for healthcare, all of these things. I'm okay paying for all of these things. Okay. I do not. Subscribe to the idea that I have the right to get with somebody else, okay, grab a stick called the government, and it somehow gives me the magical rights to steal from somebody, whether they're rich, poor, or whatever, okay? And again, I am consistent and intellectually honest. Refuse to innovate. If I think I deserve anything, that sounds like entitlement. Exactly. To summarize, you believe in people themselves, respect those who help themselves. The world is cruel. No one deserves anything just handed to them but hard work. Exactly. Don't be fooled by the indoctrination of the school system. Think for yourself. It's a good thing. Ha ha ha. That's because our parents are taught that way in their generation. They're traditional, timid of being different. I think every child should have access to a minimum standard of living until they become adults, especially so that people can provide themselves and take initiative. I totally agree with that if, okay, you take that initiative yourself. You don't do it on the behalf of somebody else. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that if you want to start a foundation that provides these things, I will be the first donor. I will be the first donor. But what I am not for is you stealing from somebody to give to somebody else. You understand? As long as it's voluntary actions done throughout the community, okay? I believe exactly what you believe, honestly. Like, I think if, uh, like, in my opinion, I think a lot of these world problems would be solved if government just got out of the way. But that's regardless of that. Government should help enforce the rules set by the society. Society doesn't get to set rules. You understand? This is what I'm saying. We live in the real world. A lot of people still think we live in school where or we live at home where, somebody gets to decide the rules for us. No. Society does not get to set the rules. The person who sets the rule is the property owner. You understand? So if I own a business, I set every single rule for this. You understand? If you try to set rules for my business, it means that you are trying to take control of my business. It means that, okay, let's define ownership. What is ownership? If I own something, it means I have the absolute exclusive rights to do whatever I want with it. Okay? Through definition. Okay? So if you decide what I can do with my business or can't do, that means that you are part ownership of my business and I never granted that. That means that you are stealing from me. Okay? So no, I don't think that the government has the right to do these things. No, absolutely not. You had a few podcast video about investing and the value of rare things, which you uploaded a couple months ago. They were very insightful. I think you took them down, but they were very helpful. You're a good man, Omar. Thank you, man. Thoughts on current inflation situation? There's talk of potential higher interest rates soon. Okay, so let's address the. I'm gonna address the government thing, and then we can go into inflation right after. Okay, guys. So if you have any questions about government right now, or how we would solve the things with government, then we can address those, and then we'll go into inflation next. Today, I found a way to plug my computer into my power outlet as well as into the camera, so we have a lot of time as long as you guys would have me. All right. So Neutral said, I believe in no taxes as well. My question is how to fund things like military or police. So privately, what would happen is, if you got if you're truly interested, message me after or email me, and I'll send you a link of this extremely bright gentleman. He explains how, in a moral society, okay, basically people who are moral, um, he explains how that would be run. But for example, you would have a private police force, okay, where basically, uh, he will be buying your service. So what would happen is, instead of calling 911 and waiting 30 minutes for them to come, his service is going to be competing against somebody else. So they're both going to be basically racing towards who can get to you first so they can get your service. You understand? So that's number one, how the competition would be able to provide it. Like, for example, there's a lot of private companies that do um, uh, private what did they do? Like, there's a lot of companies right now that do the fucking, what is it called? The security guards, right? Like the, I don't remember what the fuck they're called. It's like a company that does like the security guards in front of buildings. There's another company that does the security, like the people who, like, you know, jump in the way of gunshots. I don't remember what they're called. Bodyguards. There's a lot of companies that do different things. Okay, same exact way you could do the same thing with the police. You understand? Like, they obviously would not be police, because police is basically monopoly on who owns the right to protect people, right? Like, for example, I'll give you some absurdity. In Canada, somebody can break into your home, fucking threaten you, and you're not allowed to shoot them. I mean, like, give me a break. Like, where's the logic in that? Uh, so anyway, uh, what the police force is right now is just a monopoly on who has the right to actually, like, kill somebody in defense, right? That's all it is. So what I advocate for is a private police force, where basically they're for hire. However, I have to keep one thing straight. The things that I propose, they only come into the real world through morality. They do not come the other way around. There's no way to do this any other way other than believing in morality. You have to be moral people. Like, for example, people have to take action against immorality, or this fruition that I'm talking about will never come to existence. And this is why I say I'm against the banks. You understand? I don't invest in Apple because of the immoral practices that they do. I don't invest in any of these staple companies because I do not want to support immorality. And it has to be that way throughout society in order to achieve the things that we achieve. And the only way to do it is, to be honest with you, is to teach morality, and or at least describe it in the way that I'm describing it, or describe it in the way that the truth describes it. All right, so that's just my opinion. And you know, like, the thing that I'm doing right now, like, do you think I believe that I will change anything? Like, do you think I will actually the world will change in my lifetime? No, I don't think so. The reason I do this is uh the reason I'm doing this is to alleviate myself from the karmic responsibility. See, like, I could be doing packages right now. I could be putting out sales and stuff like that and earning money for my time. You understand? The thing that I'm doing right now here is 100%. I don't get paid for this. Like, I don't even get monetization for this. You understand? So the time that I dedicate here is me sacrificing my only resource in this world to try and give to, or inspire somebody else to, you know, have the morality that I'm talking about. Okay? So yeah, it does come with sacrifices, guys. It doesn't come for free. All right? Morality has sacrifices. So yes, the private police force will have to be moral. What does that mean? That means if I own a company and I want to start taking advantage, where, for example, what would happen is, in a moral society in the beginning, okay, I'm a good person, I want to create a police force, I would create police force. And what would happen is, you have to bring proof before I come and back you up, right? Like, for example, I stole somebody's TV, somebody stole my TV, okay, and I saw them running away, I have it on video, okay, and they're saying I will never give it back or whatever. What would happen is, you would go to this police force and be like, hey, look, I have proof, whatever, and um or like, the neighbor saw him and he's willing to witness it, and then we can go check his house, and then in his house you see the same TV, whatever it is the procedure is. Okay, I'm sure the free market will find a proper way to do the procedure if there's like rampant theft or whatever. um that police force would be like, okay, you have provided substantial proof, I'm willing to go help you, and they will provide their services to go get your TV back. Okay, and I mean, that's basically how it works right now, right? Like, you can't just, right? I mean, honestly, it really works right now the exact same way. You just go to an arbiter, you provide proof and whatever, and then you go to the police force, and the police force enforces the law. So it's just the only thing is just not monopolized by the government. You understand? That's the only thing. Like, you have competition. But let's just say this person decides to abuse this power, okay? And all of a sudden now he's hiring hitmen for power, okay? Or for hire. Number one, the people will boycott him. Why? Because they start to see that there's immorality going on, okay? And this is the key thing. You have to be willing to take action. And this is what morality actually means. Like, morality is not just, praying to a god and and hoping he solves your problems. No, you have to take action yourself. Nobody's going to save us here. We are on our own, and we have to build the world that we want to live in individually by taking action. So yeah, nobody no this is something that is going to come very hard to people, because I know there's a lot of religious people, but nobody here is gonna save us. All right, nobody here is gonna save us. A lot of people who come into the path that I'm talking about, they end up resolving on the other path, which is basically, we either need a savior, or we need like divine intervention to come in and save us. Because the people who I'm talking about, who dove into the books like how I did, the philosophy books like the Plato's and the Socrates, when you dive into those, you become to understand what I'm talking about. That the government is immoral. The problem is that they see that everybody else is a piece of shit around them, and they end up giving up, and they say like, oh, like divine intervention is the only thing that's going to save us. I don't agree with that. um, if it is the truth, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna die on my sword, and then like the hill that I die on is the one that I believe in. And then if divine intervention does come later on, then that's good. But I'm not gonna just sit around and do nothing while all of this is happening. So um, that was a huge tangent, but again, like, it starts with taking action. And if somebody spirals out of control, we have the right to take action. And this is where you see like the Second Amendment militia thing comes into play. Because let's just say he hires a bunch of dogs, like aka the police, that just do his bidding without actually thinking. It is on us to take him out. You understand? Not kill him, but like, uh, disarm him and disempower him. So it is on us, and we have to solve the problem ourselves. We can't expect somebody else to solve it. And a lot of people, they end up like, tuning out here because they don't want the responsibility. That's the honest truth. They don't want the responsibility of taking care of themselves. They don't want that. And unfortunately, that's the real world we live in. Right now, you can escape it because you have the government doing like the dirty work for you, okay? But that government is not, that devil per se is going to come and ask for its piece of meat from you. You understand? It will come back to ask for a repayment. It's not going to give it to you for free. So yeah. Anyway, um so that's how police would work. In terms of military, I don't believe in having a military that leaves our border, to be honest. I believe that if you truly want to be a moral society, the military stays on our soil. Once it leaves, it's an offensive military. If you guys remember, I made a huge post about this back maybe a few months ago, and I lost like maybe 1,000 followers at the time. And I always do this where I post my opinion, and and I always like end up losing 100 followers every single time I post. Whatever, I don't give a shit because I don't really care about them. But I don't believe that military should leave offshore. I do not believe that. You want to fight, then they come to us, okay? And then they'll be the immoral people. They're the ones that are going to suffer the karmic consequences, whether we live or die. Like, if we lose the battle, no problem. But at the end of the day, most people, unless you're talking like United States invading Afghanistan, most fights, when you're fighting on home turf, you're the winner, right? Like, Hitler lost a war because he invaded Russia and he fought on other people's turfs. So most of the time, the stronger side is on the home turf anyway. So it's very hard for people to come in. But anyway, that's the military police aspect. I do think that this should be privatized as far as military. We are the military. We should be arming ourselves. We should be ready to fight. And if somebody comes in, but again, when people see how good we do as human beings, as a society ourselves, like the North America or whatever, if we set a good example, most other countries that will follow suit. That's exactly what happened with the United States. When the United States declared its independence and became a free nation, or as close to free as we have seen in history, they gained a huge, tremendous amount of power because everybody wanted to migrate there because they saw how much opportunity there is. Um, anyway, so that's the police aspect. Okay. How was your trip to BC? It was great, sir. Thank you very much for asking. So you believe in the private sector competition over every service? Absolutely. I want people to compete for my money. You understand? I want them to grovel at my feet, suck my dick for my services. You understand? Like I don't want them to get anything not voluntary. You understand? The government does not have to fix its actions because it gets my money anyway. You understand? That's why you see, like everybody knows, like it's a meme, how if you want something to last forever, okay, like if you want a job done over like 10 years, you ask the government to do it. You want the job done immediately, you ask the private sector to do it. So everybody knows how inefficient government is. It's just people don't want to accept that we can live without them. You understand? Because they have this Stockholm syndrome type of mentality, because they think if they go, who's going to take care of me? Who's going to wipe my ass? If that makes sense. So, yes, I do believe competition over everything. Just like how Roger's is competing for my service right now, I want everybody, I want like the Cedric police force to compete for my services. I want the Captain America police force to compete for my services. I want all of them to, I want to pick and choose. That's what I want. I like having that choice. Right? So, that's what I believe in. Playing the devil's advocate here. Are all or most people really moral then? No, they're not. Most people are not. Most people are pieces of shit. However, I do not believe that it is by nature, okay? And this is a huge topic of contention. People believe that people are just bad by nature. No, they are not, okay? People are the nature, okay? It's like saying the nature of a computer is bad. What the fuck does that even mean? Like literally, what the fuck does that even mean? The nature of a lion is bad. What the fuck is that? It says nothing. Right? The nature of a computer is good. What the hell does that mean? Nothing. Okay? I'll tell you what the nature of human beings is. It is programmable. Okay? A human being in their childhood years, if they're fed shit, they'll grow up to be shit. If they're fed good, they'll grow up to be good. Okay? They are programmable beings. If you feed them garbage, they will spit out garbage. If you feed them good morality, they will spit out good morality. You understand? But it has to start with yourself. You can't say, I'm going to wait for everybody else to do this before I do it. No, it's not, because everybody else is waiting for you. Okay? So, right now, they are under the condition of immorality because they never knew better. Just like how I didn't know better. Like 6 years ago, I didn't know. 6 years ago, bro, I was fucking like almost socialist, like steal from everybody. But I either get my act together, or I just die the way I got programmed growing up. You understand? So I took action. I started reading. I started researching, and I realized the truth. So yeah, I think right now people are under the condition of immorality. It's just like how I'm under the condition of slavery, right? Like right now, I'm a slave to the majority of people because they can steal my money whenever they want, right? They just hire somebody else in government that can steal from me. They already stole that. They stole pretty much like my property here because they can tax me whenever they want. That means that they have co-ownership. That means that it's stolen from me, right? They own pretty much everything, right? And now they're coming for your body too as well, right? Like now they want to put whatever they want in your body. So Like they pretty much own that. I'm under the condition of slavery, but my mind is not. And that's the difference here. Most people, even their mind is under the condition of slavery. They're enslaved in their mind. I'm not interested in your body. I'm not interested in your money. I'm talking about the mind has to be free, that nobody has the right to own you. You understand? That's the key thing. Nobody has the right to own you. Nobody has the right to make a decision for you. Okay? You did not sign any social contract that, because you are born here, you have to follow this. No, you don't have to do that, because honestly, nobody owns this land. Okay? Nobody owns the land. It is shared by everybody. And because of this, nobody can set rules on the land that you own. Nobody can set rules on land that everybody owns. The only rules that they can set is on land that they own themselves. Okay? I am all for, if somebody wants to enforce fucking masks in their house, okay? Like no problem. It's your house. I respect it. You understand why? Because it's your property. I want to have the ability to do it with my own house, right? So I ask other, so I have to do the same thing for others, right? Like I have to do that for other people because I want it done for myself, right? Like I want to do whatever I want in my house. I would like other people to do whatever they want in their house. So that's like, yeah. So right now I'm under the condition of slavery, but my mind is not enslaved. That's the key thing. Okay, just like how most people are under the condition of immorality, they don't know better. Okay, just like how I didn't know better. And whoever's listening to this, I hope that this kind of lights a fire under you to see, maybe what you knew is not really true. Maybe what they taught in the church, in the mosque, in the fucking school system is not what is actually true. Okay? Because you can't tell me that the government school system says don't steal when the government is stealing. You understand? No, you can't tell me that. You can't tell me that people are not allowed to have guns, but the government is allowed to have guns. You can't tell me that people can't counterfeit money when the government is allowed to counterfeit money. No, you can't do that. Anyway, that's that. Hopefully I answered your question, neutral. Would you say your view is slightly leaning towards right and Republican? Okay. So there's a hierarchy to how enlightened you are, okay? As in how much truth you know. That's what I mean by enlightened, by the way. How much actual truth you know, okay? So the bottom of the barrel is obviously that the neo left, okay? That's the bottom of the barrel. They think that if you have government is God, okay? That's what they think. They lost that church is God. Now government is God, okay? Government gets to make up what is right and wrong. If government says weed is bad, then weed is bad. If government says weed is good, now weed is good, okay? That's the bottom of the barrel, okay? Then you go up to the right. There's only like, you would say that the middle, which is basically you pick and choose, which is basically I choose some of the left and then some of the right. Okay, like I want freedom for this, but not freedom for that. I want choice for this, but not choice for that. That's the right after the neo left. Okay, and then you have the conservative, which is a step higher than that. Conservative means you are for freedom for yourself, but not for other people. Okay, this means that you got to the point where you start to understand. Hold on, let me extend this real quick just so that. Sorry. Okay, so what the conservative means is that, like, or the right, it means that you believe that you should have the right to own guns, okay, but Afghanistan should not have the right to own guns. Syria is not allowed to have guns. You understand? So you believe in freedom for yourself, but not for others, okay? And unfortunately, that's an ego thing. You understand? Like actually, all of them are ego problems. So like the left, for example, they have the ego of, whoever I elect can come up with what is right and wrong. Okay, they can decide what is lawful or unlawful. Okay, no, you cannot. Okay, you cannot pick and choose what is lawful and what is not lawful. You have to in my opinion, it was inherent like way before mankind even existed. Like there's karmic and moral laws that govern this society. Like people think that because you can't see it, it doesn't exist. But I promise you, as somebody who has delved into the occult, who has seen the deeper knowledge, okay, there is true um there is true laws that govern morality of human beings. They actually govern morality of any creature who can cognitively think for themselves. Like animals are not bound by the same laws that human beings are. Okay? Human beings have their own laws when it comes to morality. And that's what's really hidden from people. Okay? Like, the people talk about the Illuminati or all of the elites or whatever you want to call them. What those people understand, okay, what they are illuminated to, okay, is the fact that this is a real law. Okay, human beings are not willing to accept that that's a real thing. They think that they can go on through life, do whatever they want, and not suffer any karmic consequences for it, or not have their children suffer this. Okay, and I promise you, okay, you don't have to take it from me. Okay, if you read yourself, go read the Hermetic Principles, go read all of the esoteric books. If you'd like some references, message me, I'll tell you. They will tell you that most of the ancient traditions, they understood this. Okay, Freemasonry, all of these ancient traditions, they understand this. Okay, that's why they hide it from people, because if they can hide that, you can you can control people and make sure that they do bad things on your behalf. They don't do it themselves. You understand? They don't do it themselves. Because they are not willing to take on that karmic responsibility. They make you do it. You understand? That's why we constantly get enslaved. And people ask, like, why is this world like this? Why is there so much evil in the world? Because we produced it. We made it like this by not being moral people. Okay? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how far off on a tangent I went, but yeah, like the world that we live in today, okay, is because we made it like that. We literally built the bricks of the enslaved world that we live in today. Okay, there is the reason there's so much war and chaos and tragedy in this world is because we made it like that. Okay, and it only gets worse. So I made my choice to what side I wanted to go on. You understand? Now, the news came to you, the word came to you, and it's your side to choose. Okay? I don't choose for anybody. At the end of the day, I expire in like 50 years. You know what I mean? I'm going to be dead. 80 years, 85, 100 years, whatever. I'm going to be dead in the ground. You understand? I, it, I like I can only do my own work. Like I can only do so much of what I can. The rest is whoever is like kind of listening to me, they have to carry on, and hopefully my children will carry on, my grandchildren will carry on. But the person, the ancient teachings that I read that passed it on to me, I'm passing on to you. Okay, I basically summarized all of the ancient traditions. You want to look into Freemasonry, freaking Kabbalah, crucifixion, all of those things, that's what they summarize to. They summarize to the fact that human beings are bound karmically by a law, okay, of morality. Okay, if you do harm, it will come back to you. Okay, as an aggregate. Okay, sure, you will suffer it individually as well, but as an aggregate, human beings, okay, if they are moral, they become more free. And it's the good type of free, not the bad type of free, where basically like people think like freedom means like shooting everybody up whenever you're angry at them or whatever. Okay, the moral system, the more moral you are, the more free you become. It's not the other way around. Okay, you don't become free and then you become moral. No, you have to earn it. All right, and this is how the world is built. I'm telling you, as someone who studied this for 5-6 years. Okay, this is how the world around us is built. It's just like gravity. You see how like I lift something, I drop it, it falls. Okay, this is a law that bounds physical objects. Okay, there is a law that bounds morality as well. And that's what's basically being hidden away from people. That's what people are not taught. They're taught that morality is subjective. It is, what the church says it is, or what is government says it is. You understand? Like I think it's 1933. Alcohol is now bad. Okay, consuming alcohol is bad. 1935, consuming alcohol is good. No, it's not. Okay, you can do whatever you want with your body. It's your body. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. It's your gift on this earth, and after that you expire and you go wherever we end up going. I don't know where it goes, um, but you will. I'm telling you, as the world moves, you will see that you slowly lose a little bit of freedom every single generation. Okay, our grandparents, you know, I said this on my Instagram live. I don't know if any of you guys, shout out to you guys if you watch this on my Instagram live, but on my IG, okay, I gave the example. People before 1920, okay, they used to be able to, like, you didn't even need passports or visas or anything, okay? All you needed was a plane ticket. You give it to your guy and you get on the plane, not the boat, and you go, okay? Imagine, imagine the type of freedom that people before us had, and they gave that shit up. We don't even know what that's like. There's a great quote that is like, the freedoms that you give up today are the freedoms that the next generation will never know of. Okay? Like, people today, they can't imagine going somewhere without a freaking visa. You understand? They can't imagine going somewhere without a passport. That was not a real thing. Okay? We gave that up. Like, not us, like our other generation. They gave that up. Okay? We can go wherever the hell we wanted. You wanted to go to Australia, you book the boat ticket and you go. You want to go to freaking China, you book the plane ticket or boat ticket and you go. That's why in Titanic, right? Like in Titanic, Jack won the ticket, right? And what did he do? He literally just got on the boat and left. They didn't say, yo, show me your papers. They didn't say that. And that's what's like, that is staggering to me. Like, to me, I just think of that and it's just like, imagine that kind of liberation, that you can go wherever you want in the world. You don't have to ask permission. Nobody's saying anything. You just go. To me, I don't know, man. Like, I said this on my IG as well. If anybody watches Attack on Titan, what I'm doing right now, okay, like right now, talking to you guys, okay, I'm basically what Armin showed Eren in the first episode. When they were flipping through the book and he was showing them that there's all these great things outside of the farm that they were in, basically. There's all these great possibilities. Water made of fire. You understand? Like, or whatever, lava or whatever, however they described it. Okay? That's what I'm trying to describe to you guys. Like, that's how people lived back then. They were able to do whatever they wanted. And then they gave that up. And this is why I fight so hard for what I have right now, or what we have right now, because I don't want the future generation to not know it. I don't want like 2 generations from now, my grandchild, he has to fucking show his like his vaccine passport every fucking time he wants to go eat at a restaurant. And he's not going to know that this thing does not exist in the past. He's not going to know that. So like that's something that's very, very like no such thing as refugees. You understand? Because people back then, they understood that nobody owns the land. Okay, you can't tell people no, you can't come, or yes, I can come. You understand? Jack got on the boat and he left right away. Okay, and it's disheartening, man. Like, now I can't even go to the States if I want to, because I need a fucking vaccine passport or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean that's the freedom I'm talking about. Like, the freedom to truly do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt somebody else. That is truly like the real freedom. Not fucking being able to go to a shopping mall and buy shit from the big corporations. You understand? That's not what freedom is. Freedom is not you being able to fucking play video games all day. Like, sorry, got aggravated a little bit. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, sorry, I completely diverged. So anyway, I'm back to the main topic. Conservatives is basically people who want freedom for themselves but not for others. Okay, or at least that's the alt-right or whatever you want to call them. Okay, they're there, like they're almost there. They understand what freedom is. Okay, but they just haven't gotten to that point yet. They haven't gotten to that final step yet. That if you don't grant it to others, it's not going to be granted to you. That's the most important thing. You think that you can torment the Afghan people or the Arab people for 20 years and not have to pay that? You will have to pay for that, whether it's you or your children or your grandchildren. You're gonna have to pay. Somebody will have to pay for that blood that was spilled there. You understand? So that is something that they have to realize and get over their ego in order to see, like, they are not able to decide what is right and what is wrong. They cannot do that. They don't have, they are not God. You understand? God already decided what is, like, not God as in religion. I'm talking about the actual creator, the one who designed this whole place. You understand? Actually, people who don't believe in the creator, they're the ones who are like the atheists. They are basically almost neo-left. Like, you'll see, most atheists are actually neo-left. You understand? They're all like, government is God. Government decides what is right and wrong. Humans decide what is right and wrong. You understand? See, for me, you take me and you put me in slavery time, I will stand up and say slavery is wrong. You take me and put me in Nazi time, I will stand up and say Nazism is wrong. You are not allowed to oppress anybody. Okay? You're putting me here right now, and I say the exact same thing. You are not allowed to oppress anybody. And this is where I say I am consistent. I am straightforward, and I don't make shit up. You understand? So, yeah, most of the people on the left right now, they would be Nazis in Nazi Germany. They would be slavers in the 1800s. Okay, most of those people, that's what they would be. The left or the right or whatever, they don't want to be enslaved, but they're okay enslaving others. That's what the conservatives are. Anyway, and then you have the most in line, which is, if freedom for all is freedom for one. All is one and one is all. You'll see that in Full Metal Alchemist. You take it from one person, you take freedom from one person, you're taking it from everybody. And because people will have to pay for that. So that's the thing. I do not lean left or right. I've never voted and I will never vote. And I am not interested in somebody or giving consent to somebody to rule me, because I'm not interested in somebody having say in what I do, because I know best what I do for myself, or I would do for myself what I know is best for me. Okay. Next, I agree with minimal government based on moral individuals making free choices, but what about the legal systems? You can't have competing legal systems. Well, the legal system is actually built up from morality, right? So did this person trespass on these 7 things? If he didn't, then he's fine. You know, the legal system was not built by government. Legal system was built by philosophers. I should actually do one on what is justice, like due process, clear evidence, like all of these things. I should do a video on that. If you're interested in that, just let me know, because I'll break it down, like literally step by step, how we came to the legal system that we live in today, because it was not invented by government. Government is the only one that basically has a monopoly on enforcing it, okay? But the legal system is a philosophical understanding. It is not a government system. And what morality is, basically, like, let's just say, for example, like probable cause or whatever it is. Like, let's just say due process, all right? The reason people came up with due process, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, due process is, let's just say I accuse Cedric in this chat of stealing from me, okay? The reason that they came up with due process is because if I go and throw this accusation that we don't have due process, then the whole community is going to come and take Cedric. But then what if he's innocent? What if I made a mistake? What if I'm falsely accusing him? So this is why we came up as human beings with the system to provide a proper way of not incriminating people that are falsely accused, right? So this is why that's why it's a bunch of nonsense when you see things like you should just believe her or whatever. Like that's a bunch of you can't just believe somebody because what if somebody believed me that Cedric stole from me, right? Like it's very damaging to Cedric. What if he gets killed for it, right? What if he gets harmed for it, right? So what we did was, as human beings, we kind of evaluated, would we rather punish somebody who did not do it or miss punishment on somebody who did do it? Okay, like basically like not be able to provide enough evidence for this guy. We weighed out the options and we said punishing somebody who didn't deserve it is worse than not punishing somebody who did deserve it, because in this one person was harmed. In this one, two people were maliciously harmed, right? Because this person did something wrong and he hurt somebody else, and he already did the crime. In this one, if we hurt him, even though he's falsely accused, we did another crime, which is twofold. You understand? Now, do I agree completely with the full process? No, I don't. For example, I don't believe like fucking uh non-admissible in court. Like if I go into somebody's house and I find somebody stabbed with a knife, you can't dismiss this evidence simply because I broke into some guy's house, right? So no, I don't believe with every process, but if we allow the free market to choose what is the proper system, I think we'd be able to have much better options than right now, which is basically each lawyer trying to escape like with basically like a bunch of bullshit reasons, right? Like every lawyer trying to escape with their convicts with bullshit reasons. So that's my opinion on regulating the law. The law, it comes through philosophy. It never comes through government. So, and actually, you can have competing legal systems. Like for example, if a court system wants to dismiss evidence of somebody being stabbed with a knife, you know what I mean? And another court system, they will allow it, okay? Me as a logical person, and I see that I have a case, for example, to present, and I have to choose which legal system I want. Obviously, I will choose this one because this one makes the most sense, right? I'm not gonna go and dismiss fucking evidence just because it was like acquiesced the wrong way, acquired the wrong way. So you get what I'm saying? Like that's just logically how you approach these things. And slowly what you would see is this guy's going to adapt the same thing as him, and then as more and more people invent new ways to solve these legal systems, we will find new ways to become more and more fair. But right now they are the exact same because the government is controlling that. There's a monopoly on it. So why would they change things up? Next is, I think part of the problem is that people by themselves can't be trusted over time. Thus, government is needed to regulate. I disagree with that because what is government? Is it made of dogs? Is it made of what is it made of? It's made of people. So what you're saying in the statement is people can't be trusted. So let's put people to regulate people. You see what I'm saying? Like logically, it doesn't make sense. Why could you trust the government? If anything, the government should be less trustworthy than your neighbor, because at least your neighbor, like you can pinpoint and say like this guy did something wrong. With the government, all you can say is complain, but at the end of the day, nobody can do anything because people believe that government has this right. They have this belief that government has an authority to do things the way that they want to do. So I don't think that your argument is a valid one because government is not made up of angels. It's made of people. So understanding this, we have to understand that, if we can't trust people with themselves, we definitely can't trust one person per 1,000 people, right? I mean, logically, how do we trust him with himself in order to regulate 1,000 people, right? I think people can regulate themselves, in my honest opinion, and it has shown that like throughout any free market. Like for example, look at the Yu-Gi-Oh market. It's extremely well regulated by itself, right? Somebody scams. I'm not saying scams don't happen. They obviously happen. They happen right now with government. Government is the biggest scammer of them all. But that aside, let's just say that there's an omnipotent, like amazing government. Okay, scams will still happen anyway. People will get away with it. It's just the nature of like not having fucking cameras every single place you go, right? So when you have fucking sorry, yeah, so when you have government, I don't believe that that's a proper argument, because if I can't trust one person with himself, how can I trust one person with himself and 1,000 other people, right? I really despise the government because they force us to wear masks and try to get us vaccinated because of COVID. They have no right to decide that. That's everyone's own decision. Totally agree, man. The Chinese once said all people were born pure and have good morals, but the environment in which he grows up and being programmed will change his morality. Absolutely. Watching while my video is uploading. Hey, what's going on, Jim? Takeshi. But you said the land property owners make the rules. USA, the land is owned by the government, so if one lives on this land, they should obey. No, the government does not own the land. Show me what document tells you that the government, these 500 people, somehow own all of the land. The only reason we believe they own the land is because we believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe they have the right to do anything. But the problem is not enough people believe like how I believe. You understand? Not enough people even come close to how I'm thinking. So, I mean, that's why it's 500 people, dude. There's 300 million people in America. You understand? Like 500 people is literally like smaller than an ant. We can easily get rid of them. The problem is they have the order following police and the military. Those dogs of the military. In Full Metal Alchemist, you know what they call them, right? They call them the dogs of the military. They do that for a reason, right? An alchemist is somebody who's enlightened, right? Like when Edward opened the door, what did he do? He gained knowledge, right? Like that's what it means when you open that third eye and you see that eye, you gain knowledge. You have knowledge. I just gave you a lot of knowledge just now. Like in the past hour and a half, I gave you a ton of knowledge. But basically, what I'm trying to get at here is, what shit, I forgot my point. So yeah, no, the government does not own all of Canada, does not own all of the USA. Nobody owns all of USA. You can't say like, even if we're talking like in the real world, let's just go to the real world, okay? Go to the border between Canada and USA, okay? That line is literally imaginary. It's literally an imaginary line. It's not a real line. Like you can't go to the border and tell me this is Canada, this is the United States. You put somebody who doesn't know about this border, they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's nothing here. You understand? It's plain of grass here, plain of grass there. So the whole product here, this is why like in all the ancient traditions, they always say everything is in the mind. Because what we project in our minds is what we bring out to the real world. Right now, we believe in our mind that there's a line there, but there's not. It does not exist. That line never existed, ever. Okay? Never. So, yeah, that's literally just a product of our imagination. People are just imagining things. So, yeah. Random. But what is your favorite episode of Black Mirror? I don't really remember, man. I haven't watched them in quite a minute. Left, right, either way, both wings connected to the same head, though. Yep, it is exactly. That's it. It's the Hydra, if that makes sense. Hail Hydra. That's why I was curious about your history, perhaps life before Canada. Also, it would help drive your point if you can show pictures / searches, etc. at the same time. What would you like me to show pictures of, brother? Just let me know, and I don't mind showing it. If you'd like links, I can provide these links as well. Just message me. Like I have resources for a ton of things, like for example, like privatization of roads, right? Like everybody, like anytime I bring up the government, it's like, who's gonna build the roads, right? Yeah, I can provide resources for all of these things so that you can be able to, so that you'll be able to at least understand my side. You know what I mean? You don't have to agree with me. My side is pretty convincing because I came in pretty neutral minded. Like I did not believe what I believe because of, like somebody forcing me to believe. Like I got convinced, if that makes sense. And I found it really damn hard to dispute. You know what I mean? If you go in without fear, you can't say, "Oh, I'm scared of what would happen. That's why I can like push this to the side." No, you can't do that. You have to go in like truly without fear, without without any type of prejudice, if that makes sense. And yeah, that's how you truly learn. So if you'd like some resources, just message me, and maybe I'll do like some kind of discussions. Like if you guys really like this and I find good feedbacks in the comment, like I'm probably gonna lose like a couple hundred followers after this one. But if I find that there's good feedback in the comments, what I'm gonna do is I might actually bring the resources, and then we can like kind of discuss every single topic if you guys are interested in that. Because this whole ideology, if that makes sense, is it is it's a deep rabbit hole, man. Like I'm constantly learning new things every day. Like for example, recently I learned about the right to repair, right? Like for example, okay, Apple makes its own product. Okay, they make their own product and they sell it to you, right? I don't know if you know this, but Apple, they have contingencies inside the phone that if you, for example, just try to replace the phone, that screen, they break the phone, or the camera stops working, or the home button stops working, or whatever. Okay. Now, logically, you would think, Apple has a company, they made the company, they own the product, they're allowed to do whatever they want with it, right? That is true. Okay, they are allowed to do a lot with it. They can't do everything with it. And the repair is very important, or repair and augment as well. Like I'm allowed to change my phone if I want to, even if you made it. And let me give you an example of why, because this is how you have to test things out. Like this is how you philosophically examine if this argument makes sense or not. And the way I came to this conclusion is I just thought about it in a completely different way. If a contractor, he builds a home, okay, and then he gives me the home, I pay him, and all good and dandy, and he puts a picture there, okay, of a really ugly person, okay, and I want to get rid of it. Does he have the right to tell me, no, you can't get rid of it, I built this house? Absolutely not, because we traded exchange. I gave him money and he gave me the house. I gave Apple the money, I got the property. Now I have the right to be able to do whatever I want with it. So this is why I say Apple is an immoral company, because now they're taking my rights away from owning the thing. See, when I give my money to Apple, I don't tell Apple, what are you doing with the money? I don't tell Apple, you should use the money for this, you should spend the money on this. So by Apple restricting me on that exchange that we made, they are now immoral, because now they're taking co-ownership of what the fuck I own. You understand? And this is how you get to the bottom of the truth. Like, does it truly make sense? Does Apple have the right to restrict whatever they want on their phone? No, they do not, because just because you made it does and you passed it on does not mean you have the right to enforce whatever you want. So what would happen in a moral society is people would boycott Apple, and that's what I would do. You understand? That's what I did. You understand? I stopped buying product. I still use the Mac because, frankly, there's such a huge monopoly on the thing. But I never buy directly from Apple. You understand? I never do that. I buy directly from not directly. I buy secondhand always, because I'm not gonna give them the money. So that's how I kind of take action against Apple, if that makes sense. And that's how I take action against immorality. So that's a huge tangent, but anyway. It's not something you can generally get a gist of quickly. You have to spend a lot of time understanding and looking at different areas. different areas of the world for years and years. Exactly. Neutral. Do you believe in karma? Absolutely. I wouldn't call it karma. Like some people call it natural law, some people call it karma, some people call it God, uh, whatever you want to call it. Kasha. Like in every different tradition, they call it different things. But the idea in the English language, it's just a law that binds moral law. So you can call it morality, But a lot of people like to reference it as karma in this world. I, I'm indifferent. I don't really care what the fuck you call it. The thing about passport sounds crazy. Exactly, man. It's insane, right? Think about it. Like you could go wherever you want. Everything in the world is yours. You can access whatever you want. You have the money for the plane ticket, you go. You have the money for the boat ticket, you go. That's what it was like. It's unbelievable. I can't even imagine the freedom that people had. I can't believe they gave it up. I'm fucking so angry with them. Completely agree with you. Shadow, thanks, man. You talk a lot about shit. I missed a lot. Somebody said you talk a lot about moral conduct. What about religion? Religion is just another government. That's just what it is. Religion just means basically that somebody else gets to decide what is right and wrong. You understand? Other than God per se or the creator. Okay. So for example, we look at Christianity. All right. Or I don't know. I don't want to get into religion. People are going to get turned upside down. But yes, religion is just another type of government. It's just you replace the White House with church or mosque. You replace the people in the suits with people who wear a turban and white clothing, or somebody who wears all black like a priest. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. Like it's just a bunch of dogma. God equals higher power. Yeah, God just means the person, the creator. That's all it means. The thing that created this into existence, right? Like when you look at a car, you don't think that it's just made by itself, right? The way that I thought about it is it's the equation that allows human beings to move forward. So for example, human beings cannot make trees, okay? They can't make it out of dust. They have to follow a precise equation, right? You take the seed, you take the mud, you put it in, you give it sunlight, you give it water. So it's x plus y plus z plus a plus b equals tree. Okay? The creator, or God per se, is the one who fabricated this equation. He made this equation up and he gave it to us in order to create. Okay? That's what it means. That's my idea of God, because human beings don't make these equations. They cannot. Okay? I don't believe they can, and I've never seen it done. Okay? What human beings can do is follow the equation and come up with things. Okay? And we discover as we go. The problem with this is that people would need to be informed on all aspects of their life. Example, picking healthcare system, picking political system, justice system, etc. I think people would rather just pick someone they trust to make decisions for them, and then if they fail to meet their request, then vote him or her out. So, okay, let me address the first thing. The problem with this is that people would need to be informed on all aspects of their lives. I mean, duh. You have to be. Okay, you have to be. The thing is that I am not against having somebody choose something for me. So for example, I had somebody choose my life insurance, right? Like I was like, hey, could you choose my life insurance for me? The thing is that there's competition for this. Okay, there's competition for this. There's people trying to gain my they want my service. They want my money, okay? That person can't tell me, oh, here, choose this health care insurance, and if I don't like their decision, too bad, I have to live with it, and they have to I have to accept their shit. With government, it's complete opposite. The government decides, okay? And then you could try to vote them out, but this is for a grand scale of things. And if you lose, then what? The individual gets crushed. I'm all for selecting people to make these choices for us, okay? As long as it is voluntary, it's not by force. The problem is that when you have government is, if I do if I vote red and somebody votes blue, and if more people vote red, he cannot decide anymore. We took his right away to choose. His right to choose away. If we have it privatized, okay, whatever it is, the thing that we're debating about, whether it's red or blue, okay, what would happen is, if he doesn't like my choice of healthcare, he goes and he buys healthcare with somebody else, okay, and most of the time the person who's producing the best product is the one who gets the most business. And that's the honest truth. You can look at it everywhere. The reason Apple is so dominant right now is because they truly make the highest end product in terms of quality control. Like, when do you truly see a problem with Apple iPhones, for example, like, where, like, other than the bend thing, but like very rarely do you see like it comes in with like dust on it. Like, I bought my Dell computer, for example, fucking spacebar doesn't work. Like, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. Like, Apple is dominating because they actually put out the best product. The problem is that they're immoral. Um, so number one, you have to be responsible for your own decisions, and people would rather choose. Too bad if you would rather choose. Like, that's the honest truth. Like, karma doesn't give a shit what you would rather do. You understand? Like, the law of nature doesn't care what you would rather do. If you are restricting somebody else's rights or their ability to do whatever they have the right to do, okay, that is something that, it doesn't matter if you have 100 people behind you or 1 million people behind you or the whole country, okay? If the whole country voted red, okay, and this one person, okay, or let's just say country, I don't believe in countries, but let's just say the whole country voted red, and this one person doesn't want it and you force him, everybody's gonna eat the crap, because karma doesn't give a shit about what you would rather do. It is your responsibility. You were born into this world. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself, and you don't take care of anybody else. So I totally get where you're coming from, because for me, it's very easy to just sit back and have somebody else do something. Karma doesn't give a shit about that. It doesn't care about what I want. You understand? Like, I wish it cared about what I want, because then I'll get what I want. I'll get a free society. It doesn't care, okay? Like, it truly doesn't care. So, um, Cedric said Omar doesn't vote. Tyrell Reed said two wings of the same bird. Cedric said I meant Googling stuff / web search. I don't know what you mean by that. Somebody said the indigenous people knew the principles of life. They didn't own the land they lived. They just borrowed it from mother until while they lived it. Exactly. Um, so that's exactly what it was. Like, the ancient traditions. That's why they had to abolish them. That's why they had to bury them underground and make them secretive, like secret societies. The reason is because they can't have everybody knowing about this, because they need everybody stuck on the fucking consumerist lifestyle. You understand? Like, sit and play video games all day and night, not learn anything about the world that you live in. Imagine that. People die. You understand? People die not knowing anything I just said, not knowing that there existed a world without passports. People die not knowing that. Like, what is that kind of tragedy, man? Like, I don't know. I don't know. To me, I value knowledge over everything, dude. Like, I would give up everything I have to, if I can just learn everything in the world. You understand? That's just how I am. Like, I don't really care about anything else. So, yeah. Anyway, Tyrell, what's good, buddy? You good, man? I'm very curious about this subject. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for tuning in. Neutral said, bring in the resources, definitely. Kurt said, this man is a go. Everyone's too scared to speak up and try to change things. People are blind to what's happening in the world and what's wrong, what's being done with innocent people. Like, this is the thing, man. The problem is not enough people are willing to put in the work. You know what it took for me to know what I know right now? Every day, like for a year and a half almost, I sat there for around 6 hours reading. Okay. I read both sides. Like, I didn't just come to my side like, rabbit holing just one thing. I read the left. Like, I read the Communist Manifesto. I read Karl Marx. I read all his crap. Okay. I don't know how somebody can believe him, to be honest, like that. You're gonna hire this omnipotent being that's going to solve all your problems and everything's gonna be okay. But somehow he got people to believe him that if you give government all this power, they're somehow just gonna let it go. And like, I don't get it. But most people, even conspiracy theorists per se, they don't read enough. They don't know enough. Okay, like most people on the right, like, dude, this is gonna fly by most people's head. The whole virus system, okay, the whole virus, germs, AIDS, all of this, complete, absolute psyop, okay, all of it, okay. If you'd like resources, I'll give you some books right now. You can read the book called Virus Mania by Dr. Sam Bailey. You can read the book by called The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg. Read these two books. Your whole world will change. You will understand that pretty much everything is a fucking lie. You understand? Like, the whole world is fucking theater. Like, I'm not joking. Just to read those two books. They're extremely enlightening and all factually based. Like, you will see the resources. Half the Invisible Rainbow, half the fucking book is citation. Okay? Half of it. So it's not, you're gonna see a thick book, but half of it is citations. So so yeah, like most people, like even on the conservatives, for example, they haven't driven down enough. You understand? They understand there's something wrong, okay? They see it, but they don't know exactly what it is. Like, what is actually going on? Why is this happening like this? Okay? So that's what happens. Like, conspiracy theories, for example, like, bro, I went to a rally once, okay? It's fucking embarrassing. Like, half the people had Jesus on like, half the parade was Jesus and the other half was Trump. Okay? Like, what do you want me to say to that, man? Like we're fucked. Like, we're fucked. These people actually think that Trump is gonna save them or Jesus is gonna save them. I don't know, man. After that, I left. I was like, I gotta do something, man. I gotta do something that is like somehow touches like online. This is why I wanted to build this. Like, I had to build the platform first of all on Instagram, because on Instagram I can't share fucking links unless I have 10K followers. As soon as I got 10K followers, I started hitting the fan with fucking YouTube, because I had to expand my reach, because this is the only way I'm gonna get anything done. That I can't do this rally bullshit, because half those dudes are idiots. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. They can't even explain their understanding. They can't even understand. They can't even explain like why it is that they want Trump. Like, Trump is an insider. Bro, nobody gets into office unless they are selected. They get in on purpose. They are put there. You understand? Like, I don't know, man. Anyway, I'm not getting into this. We're seeing the same thing happening with cars as well. I honestly don't remember what I was talking about, so you're gonna have to remind me what I was talking about. Right to repair is another big topic with Apple these days. One can find more info on YouTube. Yeah, that's also a freedom aspect, right? Like, if you don't fight for your freedom with Apple repairing your own Apple product, okay, how are you gonna find your freedom in any other things? Like, how you want your privacy on your MacBook or your phone? If they can fucking not let you repair your item, okay, they can fucking own your camera as well on your phone. Like, I don't know how somebody can like not grasp this. I don't understand this. Or like, if they can tell you you can't download an app, who the fuck are you? It's my phone. Who's gonna build the roads? Answer: fucking normal people will build them. The same people that are building them right now, bro. The fucking corporations are still building them right now. I'm telling you, dude. Trudeau did not put a single layer of asphalt on the road, dude. It was a private corporation that did it. I don't know if there is a God, but I do find how our universe is set up very intriguing, almost as if a creator did it. I do think there is aliens out here, though. I have no idea outside of Earth, dude. I just look at the world around me and I see that there is a designer, okay? That's all I know. I know that things did not just happen like this with happenstance, and that's all I need to know. You don't believe in countries, but the issue is people take pride in their country. Besides being a human, over time they want to show dominance over others, unfortunately. Yes, they do that because they're in a fucking cult, okay? Countries is a cult, okay? They have their own symbols, they have the flag, okay? They have their own leaders, the government, okay? They identify as them. It's just like how most Muslims or Christians, you take them out of that religion, what's going to happen? They're going to be like, who am I? Because they can't identify themselves. They only identify themselves as what's around them. You understand? So countries is exactly like that. Like I'll give you a real example, man. Somebody I know, okay, he said something that it was like truly heartbreaking. This dude was like, I'm better than my brothers and sisters because I have a Canadian citizenship. Like, who says that? Like, who says that? Canadian citizenship is literally a fucking piece of paper. Your God, Justin Trudeau, gave you this piece of paper. And now you think you're better than these people. This is what I'm talking about. It's a fucking cult, okay? Religion in general is a cult. Government is a cult. It's a cult that allows you to think that you can do other bad things or think bad things about other people because of who you are aligned with, okay? That's what it is. It's just a cult. So that's why they take pride in it, because they're in a fucking cult. It's just like how the Masons take pride that they're Mason. They wear their rings, right? Engineering is a fucking cult. They give them these rings and they take pride that, oh, they're somehow better than other people. It's a fucking cult. Yes, and we should have people with conflicting ideologies so that less gets done to piss off the other side. In a sense, government should be made to have a constant gridlock, IMO at least. What do you mean by that? Yes, we should have people with conflicting interests, conflicting ideologies, so that less gets done to piss off the other side. Exactly. You know, I was talking to my buddy. He's like, "How would the road work, right? Like, let's just say we all live on a house. We have all our houses here. How are we gonna align a road here?" Well, number one, okay, do the people on the house not want a road for some reason? Let's just say that there's one person who doesn't want the road, okay? He doesn't have the car, okay? So he's saying, I don't want you to build asphalt in front of my house, okay? So what the contractor would do is, or the investor, the businessman, what I would do at least, I would say, look, I will offer each house, there's 10 houses, I'll offer each of you 1% of the profits that I make by everybody that drives here. I'll toll everybody that drives here, except you guys, I'll give you 1%. All of a sudden now, I make profit, I give them 1%, they have passive income on literally nothing. They did nothing. They didn't invest anything. All they did was they let this guy build a road here and they got 1% on top of that, on top of their wealth. Okay? That's one way to solve it. Instead of the fucking government building the road and then you're paying tax consistently even the road is already built. Like, it's ridiculous. Now they're pulling money out of your pocket instead of somebody putting in your money in your pocket. That's how I would do it, at least. I don't know how the free market would do it. I'm sure somebody would come up with a better idea than me, but if I was a road builder and I want to build a road here and I want to toll it, if I see a lot of traffic or whatever, I tell all these house owners, look, I'll pay you 1% of every single dollar I earn. Let me build here. They'll be like, sure, no problem. They get a free road, okay? And they get passive income coming in every single month. I don't understand how some people, I don't know how someone can argue against that. I meant not just show yourself on camera, but to include your computer screen in frame 2 so you can show reference and quick internet search. If there's no difference in countries, then there's no point in the Olympics. Olympics, okay, I don't want to get into this, but the Olympics is a completely occult ritual, okay? It's just a ritual that happened in the ancient world, and the people who rule today, they're just bringing it back. That's all they're doing. That's the Olympics. What would happen actually the Olympics is you wouldn't even have countries. You would just literally have the 10 best people running the fastest race. Who cares where the fuck they're from? How to survive in a world where most people and entities are inherently immoral. You become moral yourself, man. Every action you take has to be a moral action. Right? I could easily put down payment with a house right now, but I choose not to do that because I refuse to do immoral things or get into bed with an immoral entity. You try to be moral yourself, and then once you learn, like once you take what I know, now it's your duty to go and inform somebody else. Because I mean, I learned it enough so that I'm convincing because I understand what I'm talking about. Most people who preach freedom, they don't understand what the fuck they're talking about. Freedom is responsibility. Okay, that's what freedom is. What I'm preaching about is literally responsibility. You take responsibility for yourself. That's what freedom is. It means that you take responsibility for the choices you make. That's why people don't like freedom. You understand? Because they want somebody to take that choice for them. They don't want to suffer the consequence. They're not endued by their parents with enough confidence that they can choose better than somebody else can choose for them. That's the main issue, honestly. That is the main crux of the matter. People do not have the confidence that they can make the right choice. That's all. If I was to summarize it, that's what it is. Okay? Or they don't have the confidence, like somebody who advocates for stealing from the rich, for example, because that was like a dress that they had. Somebody who advocates for that is somebody who doesn't have the confidence that they can make money themselves. That's all it is. You need somebody to steal on your behalf, and that's why you advocate for this type of shit. That's all there is. By getting self-educated, have free critical thinking, help others spread knowledge, and be humble, open-minded. Exactly. Like, dude, I got proven wrong completely. Like, dude, I had that opinion of Apple until I actually sat down, meditated. I thought about it. I was like, you know, I was like, it does make sense. Like, if somebody built me a house, I would want to put whatever I want in the house, even if they built it. Same thing with Apple. I got wrong. Like that was a revelation I had after like what 5 years of studying this, and I was like, you know, Apple can do whatever they want. They built a product. If you don't like it, deal with it. No, you don't deal with it. That's an immoral action. Strictly for Prime Minister 2022. I'm not trying to rule anybody, man. All this is the thing, man. Uh, Today, now this is a completely different soliloquy. It's gonna go off on a tangent. Today we see a lot of talks about alphas. Okay, alphas are people who do this and that. Okay, an alpha, okay, truly is somebody who can galvanize people to lead themselves. Okay, to empower themselves. Okay, that's what I try to do here. Like when I'm talking to you guys, I'm trying to give you the power for yourself. I don't want to lead you, dude. I want you to lead yourself, and I want you to know that you can lead yourself. I don't get anything by telling you this. Well, I get my own freedom. That's what I get. I get my children's freedom. I get my grandchildren's freedom. That's why I earn here, and whatever comes after I perish and expire. Okay, after I die, whatever I get there, that's what I get. But when I'm talking to you here, I don't get anything from it. So I try to so a real alpha is somebody who can inspire other people to lead themselves. It is not somebody who can get a lot of girls. It is not somebody who is dominant or whatever. It's somebody who, somebody who people listen to because they feel like their life will improve by listening to him. Somehow it will improve. You understand? So, this guy was like, "No, I want you to lead me. I refuse to make my own choices." But you get what I'm saying? Like, so if you truly want to be an alpha, inspire others and make sure that you show them that there is a better way. There is a better way than stealing, corruption, and fucking hiring somebody to do your bidding. You understand? So, did you watch the Canadian presidential debate? What did you think? No, I don't watch it because I don't vote and I'm not interested in what the fuck they have to say. I heard the PPC is about freedom though, but I don't believe you can take it like this. I think the problem starts with the individual, and the only way to solve it is through the individual. This is why I individually speak with all of you, and I listen to what you guys. Um, this is why I take like I reply to all of your answers, because I have to individually inspire all these people, and this is why it's on you to individually inspire anybody else. You understand? To be able to gain back your freedom, because that's all you really get in life. Your life, the only thing you have is your choices. If you got those removed from you, forget about it. You don't have anything. But you still have to continue using Apple phones because it's superior quality. Yeah, I mean, buy secondhand. Don't give them your money. That's what I recommend. I when I went to buy, I bought iPhone 11 because even though I could easily buy iPhone 12, but I don't do it. I'm not gonna give them my money. So yeah, here we go again with a vicious cycle. Imagine. Yeah. Anyway, it's been 2 hours. Hopefully you guys learned something. Let me check how many followers how many subs I lost by this time. Probably someone came in. Yeah, I I lost like 10 subs. Probably someone came into the thing and they're like religion's a cult, and they're like, what the fuck is this? And they left. Anyway, that's pretty much it, man. I said what I had to say. Next topic I might do like maybe the roads, or how healthcare works, because a lot of people worry about healthcare. Like it's like, oh, if the government doesn't provide healthcare, how are we gonna live? Uh, Contrary to popular belief, government there was medicine before government took over. So and it was extremely affordable, a lot more affordable than it is right now. Usually, this was great. Thanks for your time. Absolutely, brother. Thank you for tuning in and enjoying this. Um, I don't know if you have read about it, but there are many people in the past that tried to change things for the better. JFK is one example, but the evil elites took him out. But it seems the only solution is to stand up regardless, and risking harm for greater good. That's a harsh realization. Well, number one, JFK was a plant. He was a puppet. Unfortunately, like I don't mean to burst your bubble, but he was an asset. Okay, look up something called MK Ultra. All right, MK Ultra is a military program. It's like the super soldier program. Like they showed it in Winter Soldier. Like if anybody's watched that, Captain America Winter Soldier. MK Ultra is based. Super Soldier is based on MK Ultra program. Look that up. But anyway, I believe he was an asset. I'm not sure. I don't know 100%, but I do believe that he was. Anyway, JFK is a plant, and if you'd like the evidence, I don't mind. I don't mind linking you some documentaries about him that are kind of in the know, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people claim him to be the person who was trying to bring back the silver standard. That's why people took him out. Uh, no, it was not. Unfortunately, it was not. Like I'm sorry, but he was not. But it seems the only solution is to stand up. Yeah, exactly. That's the only way. The only way to do it is individually, right? Like I lose followers. I lose yeah, I lose followers every time. But I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. MK Ultra is an MHA move. What's MHA? Nice chat with y'all. It's refreshing to hear new ideas and not just the same rhetoric coming from someone living in California where everyone's supposed to think the same. Yeah, dude. Over there, the plantation is real, dude. Like they cook you up real good, and you come out, you come out a certain way, and you're not allowed to be any different. But what is MHA? I have no idea. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. When the individual becomes massive, they will call you a cult, bro. When the individuals become massive, they will call you a cult too. What cult though? That's the thing. I don't want anything from you. Oh, I see. I see. He said he's just being silly. It's my hero. Anyway, yeah. So, JK. I don't know, man. We'll see later. Anyway, I'm gonna head out. It's been 2 hours. I am exhausted. I am fasting, so I can't even drink water right now. So I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for anybody who listened throughout. And thank you for anybody who's watching up until now in the replay, because it's like a 2 hour video. So it's definitely different. You understand what I'm saying? It's definitely different. So yeah.